1999, you actually took on the iconic role as Kevin Myers. And I have to say, my sincere apologies. I know you probably get asked this every single interview, but I've probably been a fan of these movies since it first came out in 99. So I have to be the 1 millionth and first person to actually ask you this. I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about your role in this smash hit comedy? And of course, how did you actually land the role as Kevin Myers originally?
Yeah, I mean the role is obviously, I mean it's probably the most relatable character, I think, only in the sense that it's his friends that are a bit outlandish, and I didn't mainly because I didn't have to do a lot of the embarrassing stuff in the movies, so that's where I got kind of off scot free. As far as how I landed the role, it considering the show that we're on, I'm going to tell. There's many versions of this story, but the one I think that relates most to the punk world is that my job was actually saved by Save Ferris. I don't know if you knew this or not.
I actually did not know that.
Okay, so this is going to be a deep cut for you. So Monique, the singer of Save Ferris. So the joke is it's Save Kevin. Now I've renamed her band because Andrew Keegan actually had the offer for my role, but he was also shooting 10 Things I Hate About You. Now, just imagine the alternate timeline reality of like Andrew Keegan would have been like the king of like the teen comedies if he was starring in 10 Things I Hate About You and American Pie that were out practically simultaneously. But the issue was they had one conflicting date that they couldn't solidify the schedules for him to make it available for him to do both jobs. And the reason they couldn't do that is there was one date when Save Ferris, who was on tour, had available to film their scene in 10 Things I Hate About You. And so Save Ferris is the only reason why Andrew couldn't do the job. And I had the opportunity to audition and book the role.
I actually did not know that, but I'm now honestly thinking about that now, Thomas. I really don't think anybody else could have done that role except for yourself. But I mean, obviously, if it was a different universe, we probably could see it. But I don't know. Now that we've seen you play Kevin in, I think, yeah, 4 movies in total, I don't really think we could go back and, recreate that with somebody else.
No doubt. Well, the crazy thing is, so I went to high school with Andrew, but he only told me this story in 2018 when I hired him in Adverse to play one of the antagonists that I went up against, and then ironically in 2020 when the film was gearing up to come out, we had premiered over in Fantas Porto in Portugal, and I was doing a tour in the UK, and lo and behold, my buddy Matt Stocks invited Monique to my show, and we told that story for the first time at a live Q&A.
And also as well, in American Pie, there was actually a special guest appearance by the then up-and-coming band Blink-182. I was wondering, did you get the opportunity to actually get the opportunity to meet Blink-182 during your guys' filming? And of course, like, what was it like just filming that scene with them? Because I've always wondered if you guys were actually in the same in the studio that same day, because obviously you were in front of the computer, they were on the opposite end, kind of watching, Jim's little soiree, we should say.
Yeah, they shot their scene on the last day, and so I was already wrapped. Most of the other cast was already wrapped, so no, none of us were there. They were just acting to a blank computer screen and being directed what to do. So there's this funny bit where one of the studio executives from Universal had put Dude Ranch in all of our trailers and told us that this band was going to be coming to do a cameo. They were going to have a song in the soundtrack, and they were going to be the next Green Day. And so I, of course, was already playing music. I just finished my first album that, doesn't exist anymore because I destroyed all the copies. But that's besides the point. So I made it a point to go to set that day to meet the band. And I've run into Mark Hoppus a few times over the years. I haven't run into Travis or Tom, but I've stayed in touch a little bit with Mark. And they're cool guys.